Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for the new moon in Aries astrology chart read. The new moon in Aries is going to be on April 7th, 2016, 7:24 Eastern time, but times will vary. I finally figured out how to put 0 Aries on the ascendant and all the house cusps at 0. So I think that's going to make it a lot easier to kind of understand when I'm talking about house rulerships and stuff, so that's why I'm going to go with that. Yeah, but it's a new moon in Aries, and it's conjunct Uranus. And I wanted to do this thing this morning because there was these intense thunderstorms last night. And I think something might have either hit my house or something. It was like, boom, lights out. But then I was like just laying down and watching it out the window, and it was very cool, and the way the lightning was coming, I wasn't seeing lightning rods in the sky. It was like light was just going whoosh, like coming at me from the window into that room. It was so, it was electric, boogie, oogie, oogie. But it kind of got, because this is Uranus's realm, and Aries is, I think in the mythology, don't they even say that has something to do with Aries? I know it's Thor in, mythology. I keep want to say Valhalla, but you know what I mean, Norse mythology. But it was intense, and there could be a lot of intensity with this thing. But before I move on from that, I wanted to, Uranus rules Aquarius, okay? And that's the same energy, okay? And it's like, a lot of people who are beginner astrologers will often think that Aquarius is a water sign because it's the water bearer. But, of course it's an air sign. But it's like Uranus rules electricity. And it's like this electricity that flies through the air via water in the air. I don't know, it was just kind of blowing my mind. I don't know if you're following, but it just kind of was just like, ooh, wow, how cool, man. But we've got, it's like, the other thing about it, okay, Uranus rules Aquarius, which is the 11th house. And the 11th house in an Aquarius energy and Uranus energy talk about all of mankind or humanity, or my friends and associates and the group dynamic, whereas Aries is very singular. It's the first house, so it's your rising sign or your first house, or which Aries rules, is your outlook on life. This is kind of the lens that you see the world through. So it's the energy. There's a lot of energy here. There's this new moon in Aries. There's this Venus of seeing things, doing things my way, my outlook. But then Uranus is involved, and it's like, wait, we've got to take the group into consideration. We've got to include the group thing. I mean, this is a powerful new moon to get things done. This is the initiator. Aries is the initiator. So it is, it's a great time to initiate new things. With Venus there, I mean, it's not conjunct, but it's moved into Aries. It could be definitely like if it was some kind of fitness or something, or making yourself or your home or your environment more beautiful, more Venus energy, incorporating that Venus energy, or even, something, launching a creative project possibly. Uranus is probably going to be a group dynamic, and that's the balancing. This is going to be the balancing of what I want versus what's good for the group or all. It's trining Saturn too, and this could be a great new moon to see things come into solid form, because Saturn is solid form. It's the cement, I always say. So, and that's been happening. That's something really crazy happened to me too, but via the internet, which Uranus rules the internet, and Saturn, which is something that that was going on nearly 30 years ago, has resurfaced via some internet stuff. And also in Sag, it has to do with foreigners too, in my case. So, and it's a really good thing for me. I'm really excited about it. But it would have never come to be if it hadn't been for the internet. people halfway around the world would have never known about this stuff from way back when if it wasn't for the internet, you know. So it could be this technology, but also just unexpected surprises, which my situation totally was too. Could bring these ideas, these electrical things that are flying through the air, and these lights that are flying in the windows, and, you know, through the electricity that's in the air and the internet connecting us all, could bring Saturn into a foundation and make it real. Because, you know, it's great to have great ideas, but if you never implement them, then they're never going to be real. Saturn's there to ground it, make it real. Aries is the initiator, to put energy into it, to let's go for it, and, you know, get things rolling. So it's in a lot of ways, it's a really cool new moon. It could be used in a real positive way. The other factor, though, it's totally activating the Pluto-Uranus square. Big time. It's squaring up with Pluto here. Which, you know, but Pluto in Capricorn is Saturn's ruler. So there's that same tie-in again about bringing things, creating new foundations, shaking up the old foundations, getting rid of. And the other thing that, I'm not going to talk any at length about it, but just thinking about it, is Capricorn Saturn does rule over government, which I think politicians and stuff would fall under, if I'm not mistaken. So it's, you know, in America there's this political stuff that's going on too. Again, Sagittarius being involved, it is foreigners, or foreign countries, what we perceive to be foreign to us. And it's our spiritual and religious beliefs. So there's things about that. But I'm feeling like maybe we could come to some understanding, you know. I'm not a big advocate of religions. I don't really, you know, I think honestly that religions are the biggest downfall of spirituality progressing, you know. And I don't like these people that want to preach to me. I really dislike that. And I'm not preaching you. But there was this regular traditional pastor on Oprah's thing yesterday, the Soul Sunday show. And he was even saying, you know, I was really taken by what he said when he said, you know, I'm not blaming it on the devil. There's no devil, you know. So it just shows like he's still working within the structure of conventional Christianity religion, you know. His father was a preacher. He's a preacher. But he's, you know, he is progressing. And that's probably why he's so popular. You know, he's this famous preacher, because he is, you know, Sag, and we're taking in the new. You know, we're progressing into modern day society and getting rid of some of these superstition things, like the devil made me do it. You know, and you guys remember Flip Wilson back in the day? You know, back then he was even saying that. Flip Wilson would say that. You know, what was that? Was it the character? What was her name? He was dressed in drag. The devil was. I might be mashing up a bunch of different things, but there was something. But there was that line: "The devil made me do it." You know. So then you're free from all responsibility. A lot of this is about self-responsibility. That's a big tie into this too. Well, I'll just give it away to my religion, and that has all power over me, and I have no say. So I have no. It's not up to me, you know, it's out of my control. Everything's out of my control, you know. And, or taking the reins and saying, yeah, I'm going to forge a new direction. I'm going to forge a new way. And it doesn't even have to be about like taking down these religions, you know, it's just within your own span of consciousness. The ninth house is also in Sagittarius, and the ninth house is also education. It rules going to school. It rules higher education. It really rules expanding outside of your world. Your third house, Gemini, in the third house down here, is your neighborhood, your everyday world. And then the ninth house is expansion. The ninth house is ruled by Jupiter, which is over here in Virgo. So we still have that going on. But that's also in the mix here, because it squares to Saturn. It's in that teens. You know, this is 16, 14. So it's separating from the node at the moment, but they'll catch each other again, I believe, right? Yeah, they'll catch each other again. Excuse me, and but it's also that's one of those semi-sextile inconjuncts. I don't know the exact name of it. But there always has to be an adjustment made. That's the key thing to those odd aspects. So Jupiter's involved. Jupiter is expansion of the higher consciousness. Jupiter and Virgo, I keep hitting the thing, sorry about that. Jupiter and Virgo is, you know, the details and all that. And it's kind of opposed. I talked at length about how it's opposed to Pisces energy and all that stuff. I believe it's going to catch Neptune. It's in orb now. We have Jupiter opposed Neptune. So Neptune is the dreamy, Virgo's bringing it to reality. So there's a lot about bringing things into reality, you know. And though even and that's very true with Aries too. They're the initiator. They're going to make it happen. They're going to make it real. This is where we start our Earth journey, the first house. This is Aries realm. So it's new beginnings, but it's got the higher guidance or higher vibration of Uranus in the mix too. So initiating higher vibratorial things, initiating you know, Aquarius, things that are good for the group, for the all. Using the internet and our connectivity and the water and the electricity and I don't know, it was just so intense last night. And then, you know, the day afterwards, you just feel cleansed, you know, after a big storm. So it could be like the calm after the storm, too. That's definitely the a Neptune energy, is the calm after the storm, you know. And then, you know, we pick up the pieces, Virgo and Saturn, and we bring in new foundations and new beginnings. You know, sometimes there has to be this. There could be a storm brewing here. You know, this could be a conflict. I mean, I'm not going to just sugarcoat it and say, "Oh, everything's roses and sunshine," because it could be a conflict. But also, Aries energy, it's over quickly. It's not like Scorpio and, you know, Saturn are going to hold a grudge forever, right? It's like they say what they want to say, blow it up, and they're over it. They're on to the next thing. You know, move on, move on, move on. So it's a good way to maybe clear the air and just kind of move on. Mercury's already moved into Taurus too, and we've got part of fortune won't apply. I need to take that out of this wheel. And Vesta's there. So we've got a couple planets moving into Taurus. We're making the big exodus from Pisces into Aries, and then, of course, next into the Taurus. This is catching my eye here, because we still have the Chiron on the South Node, but Chiron with Ceres over here. You know, there's all, and in Pisces, there's all this stuff, of course, in America, again, the Flint, Michigan thing, you know, and here it's everywhere. I was going to buy a water testing kit for my house, but I forgot to get it when I was at the store. But it's everywhere, and it's Ceres, you know, the good, cleanness, or the nourishment, and we've got to heal that. You know, in Europe too, the water. I remember being in Europe. The water was horrible, and it was funny. Everybody there, none of them drank it, but they all said, "Oh, it's safe to drink," but none of them drank it. But so I don't know. I mean, it's probably worldwide, and certainly in many third world countries, that's a big concern, is clean water. So this Chiron over here with the South Node and this Ceres in here, I'm feeling like this is, you know, the focus and the emphasis on the water. I just happened to see a clip of Bruce Lipton did a movie about water. I love him too. He's so Uranian, you know, he's so scientific. He brings in that science element, and he's really a cool teacher. I'm a big fan of his. But back to this, you know, so this is coming up into our consciousness. You know, and this old way isn't going to work, you know, and in an industrial nation, you know, we were an industrial nation, and, you know, all these cities sprung up, and they were doing nothing but, you know, they were, you know, manufacturing. You know, Detroit, Toledo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, you know, Chicago, all these cities in the industrial age were booming, but they were also polluting the water, you know, and just dumping chemicals in the water and everything else. So now there's this, we've got to clean it all up here. You know, we've got to clean up, you know, our karma. But it's our karma with the earth, and more so even just the water part of the earth, you know, with all the Pisces and Neptune energy. So it's humanity's karma, you know, that we've done these terrible things, and now we've got to clean it up. And I saw a bunch of cool stuff, how they're like these dudes in Australia have this thing that'll clear crap out of the water, but it doesn't hurt the fish. Somehow it's sort of like this big vacuum thing. And that's how Uranus, you know, you know, 30 years ago, I would have never heard about these guys in Australia doing this, cleaning up the water. But now, via the internet and the technology all connecting us, and, you know, these, how we can all join in together, you know, that would be the positive spin on this. We can all join in together to do whatever, to clean up the water, or change spirituality, or make, not change, that's not really, oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. I want to say help spirituality evolve and come into the 21st century. Whatever we want to do, you know. This technology is, you know, helping us. But by the same token, it helps, again, the underbelly rally together and, you know, do other things. That's what I like about that Virgo energy in there. Because Virgo is going to scrutinize, you know, and Pluto in Capricorn too. It's not just the downfall of the patriarchy. That's that Scorpio energy is going to get to the bottom of it. And Scorpio energy is not easily, you can't pull the wool over their eyes. It's not easy, they're not easily snowed as it goes. Like you can't pull a snow job on them, you know, or, you know, they see right through it all. And they're going to dig down and find that energy and figure it all out. And what do we have? We have Juno in Scorpio. Well, you know, Juno's that goddess of beauty and everything. It's also not trining. It's also in one of those odd aspects here. I guess now we don't have a yod. There's nothing in the middle. I don't like to get too far off the beaten path with that stuff, you know, these odd aspects, because then it's almost like you're just explaining everything away. I kind of like to just go on my intuition and see what draws me in. But, you know, I was compelled to do this video this morning because of it's electrified. I feel electrified. The atmosphere was definitely electrified. And that's definitely how the vibe of this chart, it's electrified, you know, and it's fiery, and it's electric, and it's time to do a rally of some sort too. And I don't know if I mentioned that, but this also rules politics, you know, so there could be things like that, but a rally for whatever. This is like, I just feel like this is like to unite people for a cause. That's the other thing. Whatever that cause may be. Again, it could be anything, because there's plenty of things that could be drawn attention to, besides the few things that I mentioned, the water and whatever. So whatever, this is fiery too, fire. And, you know, the lightning bolts are fiery in a way, you know, and it's just like, light a fire under your ass, basically. You know, this is a great one to light a fire under your ass. And with the power of Uranus and the power of Venus, it could go in a real positive way, and we could get a lot of good stuff done. Okay, everybody, so that's the chart. I'm not doing any readings for a couple weeks. I'll be coming back with the esoteric soul reading, chart readings soon, which is like a kind of a past life or soul path reading. Probably mid-April. I'll announce it when it comes back. I know a lot of you that watch this aren't into that tarot, but my new deck is out if you want to check it out. It's the Rock and Roll Tarot, and of course I have the other deck too. Just anything, people keep asking how to get stuff. You always just, everything you can find, go up in that corner of the video, the eye in the sky, and click on that. And then secondly, I always list everything below too. So there's 2 different ways to access the information. If you just take a second to look around before inquiring about it. Okay, new moon in Aries. Happy spring in the northern hemisphere for everybody. And new beginnings abound. Have a great one. Okay, bye.